Oh, here
I'm
it is.
gonna find you a better Hulk picture than the one they have for Crisis Protocol.
I might have the little tiny GIF one that you had, like the emoji one. I might be able to put
Which
that
one
in
was
there.
that?
Yeah, let me.
All right. I guess I'll say it again then. Oh, hey everybody, we're just like hanging out while we like finish building a GIF, and then we'll actually go live and do the show you came for.
All right, Dyzard. Here's the picture of
Hey,
Hulk that we need.
Hyperviper's back, so that's
I'm
cool.
back. Hi.
And we're just like shooting the shit about comic books and the MCU.
I'm trying to find a Hulk picture.
Also that.
I'm trying to find a whole picture.
The real content.
Okay.
The real content is here.
That is not a whole picture.
What do you mean?
What you put in the meme. You put a meme. That's not a whole picture.
That looks like the Hulk picture. Let me read it out loud just to make sure. Did you know that dolphin pussy juice makes male dolphins come extra hard?
That is not a whole picture.
They did a study where they swabbed the dolphin pussy juice. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
Let me find a good Hulk picture. I mean, like, I don't just like put an entire cover on because there are a million good Hulk covers.
I mean, aren't the other two pictures just like from the
face.
cards?
Yeah, it's just the face of the card.
Just take the face off the card. Take his face.
The card doesn't look as good. The other two have way better card art. Hulk card art is kind of weak.
Give me a second. I'm sorry, everybody, but this is a necessity apparently. Let me find a World War Hulk. Do you want that?
No, I got it.
An Immortal Hulk?
I have a T-shirt with this on it. It's Avengers 682. There you go. The picture's dank as fuck.
Okay, it's gonna take me a couple seconds. Save.
I can find one without it.
No, it's fine. It'll just take me a second. That's actually a really bad resolution picture.
Yeah, I just copy pasted it.
What's gonna be great is when this just random Hulk face just comes floating in over the Rogue Agents logo.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want this one?
Which one? I don't want that one.
That is like the derpiest Hulk I've ever seen.
That's the like Joe Bennett's art for Immortal was really solid, but there are some times where I'm just like, what am I looking at? Let's see, Avengers No Surrender. Actually, wait, I have this shirt. I'll just grab the shirt.
It's taking too long. Hyper comes back and this is what happens.
We finally figured out how to focus just a little bit. Now
I know, right? And then he comes back and is completely back off the rails.
It's Avengers 684. Shout out to heroesandvillains.com for having. What am I talking about? Having hold on. Open image in new tab.
Did I not
Copy
mute it? No, I unmuted it. Carnage, are you sure? Carnage MCP.
Yeah, we're definitely live, man.
Can you not hear us? I guess he wouldn't hear it if we hit
Shout out to heroesandvillains.com who are not sponsoring us, and I have bought shirts from them for citing their sources on their t-shirts. Because when I wear my Hulk t-shirts and people are like, oh, what's that from? I'm like, well, you see, there's a citation in the bottom right corner or left corner, so please stop talking to me.
Okay, and then over here, Hulk, properties, desktop. Nope, not that one. It's taking so long.
Yeah, I feel like you were way faster with the tiger. Like the tiger just showed up one night and just rode over my face and then disappeared down into the corner.
Are you struggling?
Oh my gosh, there it is.
Yeah. That's
like I
appropriately
said,
sized as well.
Nobody understands Hyperviper's true powers.
That's true. I am completely in control of what's happening. I'm not going to be in the bottom with you guys. I'm on top. I can live with that.
Oh God.
It looks better this way.
I agree. Nice. I should be on top.
The tiger's too blurry though for it to be that big.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Why
Hulk
don't
should
you
be just a
you know what?
little
I'll
bit
send you.
smaller.
I'll actually fucking read the garbage ass series that is War of the Realms, and I'll send you a good rip of the tiger later today.
War of the Realms is a great series. What are you talking about?
I've never read it, so I don't know. I only read like the main part of it, where like I just remember Odin and Freya
Oh
being
man,
like,
no way! Like Punisher and Hulk's in it. You'll love it.
Yeah,
yeah, I know
it's actually a
Punisher's in
really
it,
good series.
and Hulk is not in it, sir, because Hulk is
She-Hulk
very
is in it.
busy. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
okay, the
She-Hulk
one
is
who
in it,
doesn't
yeah.
count.
She counts. They
No,
date.
she doesn't. Jason Aaron She-Hulk is Garbaggio.
Oh, there's a Jason Aaron She-Hulk.
Jason Aaron, that's the Avengers She-Hulk, is the one that's just
Oh,
buff and gets angry.
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Well, she dates Thor, so I'm all in for her.
You know, her dating Thor, I am okay with because Thor's a little bitch boy and he should get something.
Sam, do you have you want to do show notes again? Or not show notes, but timestamps.
Timestamps.
I can do them. It's okay. I can pull up a notepad.
No, it's fine. I can do it. We all have a job, right?
Okay.
My job is to show up sometimes.
That's fair. All right. Are we ready? I'm
Everyone's the
ready.
easiest.
I'm here.
Yeah. All right. So we are. Hold on. Let me get this so I can see like where the. Okay. If I'm gonna do timestamps, how do you want timestamps done? Because like I can see Twitch, we're at like 13:30 something. 13:40. But like, what's our like actual record time or like run time on your end? Because I can't actually
can
see
you
how
not
long.
see the clock on Riverside?
I can see the clock up top, but it says 0 because we're not recording. So is
Oh,
that what
yeah.
I should use?
Yeah,
is
use
that
that
clock
one.
in the upper right?
Yeah,
you
use
got
that
it.
one.
I can do
that
this.
one's the best
All
one.
right.
I don't. What's weird though is I don't even see that clock right now.
It's just there, but it's not running.
It only pops up when I hit play. Anyways, let's go ahead and get going with this. All right.
And now you all know the intricate workings of how a podcast gets recorded.
All right, so I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I instead of doing show notes today, I played a game with my wife. So,
I apologize for not being able to stream my earlier league match because I know like 3 of you care about that. My OBS was broken, but I fixed it now, so I can stream me and Craig playing at like 11 o'clock tonight.
there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky? You don't like a fair fight. I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.
All right, now real quick, give me like 3 seconds to go ahead and do this bad boy. Where'd it go? Oh my God, where is it? Dupe. Here we go.
This is how you rogue agent.
Where am I gonna put?
God.
Where am I?
So
Where am I gonna put this one? Where am I gonna put this one now? There we go. We're doing it this way.
Man, I would never say like you need to watch the streams to get the full picture of anything, but you need to watch the streams to get the full picture of how dumb we are.
Amen.
I can get the tiger perfect though, because it's gonna. Oh, there we go. That looks good. Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Welcome back to the Rogue Agents. We're having a wonderful start. Welcome to Hyperviper back to the cast, everybody. He made
It's
it. We have a wonderful episode planned for you guys tonight. We are continuing on with our Understanding Crisis series, and we're going to be going into extracts. And I don't have show notes tonight, so I'm completely like, this is why I do show notes. Real quick, Carnage and Speed, UD, much respect. Thank you very much. It's a fun job, and I love it. Anyways, where am I? This is why I need show notes. I should have just typed them up real quick while we were sitting there talking.
Let's just pull up an old one. Just recycle half of it.
I mean, that's what we do anyways most of the time. All right. Yeah, I'm actually probably going to do that just to keep me on track.
Yeah. We got
Oh,
this.
God.
Send it to me so I know which set you're looking at.
So far back. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry for everybody listening on the podcast, but I'm not going to edit this out. You guys got a treat last week with me editing out like the 3 minutes of nonsense. Volume's a little bit low. Okay, that's a first. I don't really know why the volume's a bit low. Can you turn it up at all?
I think your computer volume is actually low, sir. It's not our fault. It's your fault.
Yeah, I'm afraid if I
Usually, we're the ones who get accused of being loud, or at least I am. So.
I guess I'm the one that's quiet and you're the one that's loud.
Hey, as long as my volume's okay, we'll survive.
All right. Sam, I put it in the crew chat.
All right, I'm turning myself down a little bit. I'm turning myself down. I don't know what got bumped. I don't know how that happened. Is that better, Miller?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Pew pew.
I mean, to
All
me,
right.
it sounds good. All right. Okay. So, first of all, as always, announcements. Thanks to the patrons: Big Blake, Brad, BTR Game, Darth Nader, Exalted Tilapia, Gronko, It's Ferrari, Clismo, Nick, J Rowe, Joey Edge, Ronald the Accuser, Running Around, Sure Fox, Sure Thing, Nathan, and there was like 3 others we got over the last week, but I forgot to write their names in because I forgot to do the show notes. I'm sorry, but thank you to our new patrons for joining the club. The faceless one, and the other is quiet. All right. So other announcements that came out over the last week is we had NashCon go on. That was fun. We'll get to that a little bit later. Nova is happening in 2 weeks, and
Almost there.
I think that's about it for now. It's been getting a new crazy card. Oh, we got Torches cards. I think they're pretty. No, that was last week. We didn't get
That was
anything.
last week, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
It's
get
a quiet
anything
week.
new. Yeah.
But people have been saying Jim webbed up, and I still don't really know what that means.
Have you not looked at? Have you seen the new card?
It's he like
Solid.
incinerates people and he lets people do extra damage, right?
Yeah,
Or
but it's
they think
basically
more dies.
it's basically all webbed up with incinerate and shield
Yeah,
only.
but on
name's-
a single character who's very squishy, so I
Yeah.
think it's weak AF. But
It's all right. It's
His
it's
name's
okay.
Jim.
Yeah, his name's Jim.
his name is Jim.
Jim Hammond.
I just
Oh,
think
I
it's
played-
funny that he's literally the chassis for Vision. His body is what becomes Vision later on, but he doesn't have any of Vision's invulnerabilities to like status.
Be too strong for a
Leave
3
that
threat.
robot. No, he wouldn't. He'd be trash.
Fair enough. I can accept
He'd
that.
be fine.
He'd be
He is fine.
He is
I don't
fine.
know. He seems neat.
I-
Yeah, he and like Retro Cap have the funniest ability names in the game, so it's whatever.
You're not wrong. I think he's interesting. Like at the very least. I don't know. I don't play Shield right now, so I don't really think about it that way. But I think he's at least interesting.
I play Fury.
That's fair. Fair enough. Challenge of the week last week. We had, what was it? X-Men Blue was the challenge
We
of
did.
the week. Did you pick one?
We
I
did.
picked, I think I
did,
marked
yeah.
mine. Did I mark mine?
Yeah.
Did
The
I?
Punisher seal of approval went to.
Oh, you did,
Funky White Boy. Exceptional mobility.
I guess
I
I,
appreciated
didn't
his
mark mine.
selections of Crises and the inclusion of Wolverines and the sweet inclusion of Killmonger. I don't know. It seemed cool. Lots of charges and then some powered up spenders seems cool to me.
Okay, awesome. I was gonna pick a goose, but I feel like I pick a goose almost every single time. So I'm
You guys are
sorry.
on the same
Goose.
wavelength.
Yeah, I guess. So I'm gonna go with it's just Rory, because I love the name. Got the X-Men Blues, and I'm a sucker for good named lists. But he's running Domino, Cyclops, Beast, Colossus. Spender under Cyclops is actually pretty dope because it's like getting that for 1 power, just 1 power stagger. Hello, like, and it's easy to pull that off. Magic's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
if only Black Cat could do that.
Yeah, but she does it for 2 power.
It's 1 power under Cyclops.
Yeah, but she
Okay,
doesn't
but you could run them
bodyguard.
both.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
run
but-
both. Double stagger.
Pop out.
Anyways, also running Nova. I just thought it was a cool list. He has a note in here between the amount of cost and Zemo 23. You should be able to spender every turn off the 2 murder bots running in tandem because it's like you're running like super cheap spenders, like 2 cost spenders and 3 cost spenders across the majority of the things.
Does he have Rogue? I like Rogue Spender.
Does he have Rogue? Does not have Rogue actually.
Rogue is a good spender.
Has Wolverine and Colossus though, so apparently they are better rated than Rogue. So yeah, I like it.
Rogue.
Get out of here.
All of
Did you
those
pick one
characters.
Hyperviper?
No, I haven't looked at the list in like a month.
Busy.
Fair enough. Fair
I had to,
enough.
dude. I literally for my TTS season 8 game today, I had to make my list before we played.
There you go. That's the spirit.
I feel this. I know
Ah.
how that works.
All right. We had a request in Discord. I want to say it's just Rari. I'm pretty sure he's the one that requested it. I don't remember where it was though.
What's our request?
The what are we drinking game, whatever it's called.
Oh,
Was it? I'm pretty sure it was him. But I love this comment from Sure Thing.
Fernet and Coke.
This is my favorite podcast because instead of doing a recap, we get to listen to y'all try to figure out what the heck happened. I was paraphrasing. That's not exactly what he said, but it's pretty close.
Oh, if we have any German Star fans from like 10 years ago, what really happened? What
Oh, there it is. It was in Accountability Club. That's right. It was they put what was I drinking when I put Widows on my goals. And I said this makes me want to have a drink tonight during tonight's episode because I don't normally drink that much, but I felt like having a beer tonight. And oh, there it was. It was Thoros that recommended it. A buddy of mine does a drink review every time he streams. Just gives a minute thing about a new beer or whatever he's trying. Could be a new segment. So, man, I'm so out of. I need to have show notes. I cannot do this without show notes. I'm sorry. Make sure you have a timestamp of completely rambling for the first like 10 minutes.
I still haven't actually included our first timestamp. We're at 0 minutes to and now 8:45, and it's literally just going to be like,
This is what the show is supposed to be.
I mean, it's like I think our best advertisement for the show is just straight up. Imagine sitting in a garage having drinks with your friends, talking about the game. That is what the show is. Let's be real.
Isn't that what podcasts are supposed to be? I don't really understand podcasts in general, but like
I don't either. I just do stuff.
the most successful podcaster in the world is Bro Jogan, right? And all he does is fucking get high.
That's fair.
yeah, and talk to people however he wants to.
That's also fair. All right. So you said you're having what? What are you drinking? And give us a review. We're having. What do we want to call this? What do we want to call this? What do we want to call this segment? Breaking news.
There we go. Perfect. I'm drinking a Fernet and Coke. I'm going to switch over to a dark beer here in a minute. But Fernet and Coke is a fantastic drink that makes you feel like you bought it off a snake oil salesman in 1870. Oof. It makes your body just like feel just like tingly and warm, and you're just like ready for anything. Like you could just it cures what ails you. And then I'm going to switch over to a dark beer here later.
That's fair. I'm drinking some cheap light beer.
I can get behind that.
That's fair. Just some Yingling Light because I'm cheap. I didn't have anything fancy in the fridge and I forgot. Yeah, so my my little gasp there was because I thought of a name. This could be our hot take segment.
Wait,
I love it. Hot takes.
Hot takes because
wouldn't they be cold takes? Because you want cold beer.
I mean,
but it's hot takes on our drinks.
Yeah,
cold takes or hot takes on cold beers or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, hot takes on. Well, we got to keep it and like keep it ambiguous. Where we're like, it's just hot takes because people think we're gonna start reviewing MCP stuff, and then we just start talking about what we're drinking and reviewing it.
Oh, I actually like that a lot.
Yeah. You missed it.
Really peak when we like never talk about MCP anymore. We get like halfway through the episode and then we make mention of character in MCP. Like, well, hold on, we're getting off track.
Not really. We'll get focused in a minute. But
you missed it. You missed it a couple of weeks ago though, where we had this little hot take scene. I'm not gonna play it again because it's kind of long.
No, it is super long, but it's great.
But it was good times. I got a message from Omnis at one point in his Discord saying, "You guys started saying you were doing hot takes," and I started gasping about what was happening, and then I realized what was actually happening. Good times. All right, let's get on with the show, guys. Let's we're about what, I don't know, 15
on
minutes
with the
already.
show.
All right, so yeah, NatCon happened. That was fun. We'll get to that during the questions because we actually.
Did you guys have fun?
I did not
go. Have fun?
I did not go.
Oh, Sam, did you have fun?
I had a blast. But
that's good.
I'll answer Kenny's questions about it
Are you guys coming to LVO in January?
Maybe.
I got an invite. I'm planning on it.
You guys should come so I can actually see you.
I wasn't invited.
I don't care. Just buy a ticket.
It's not over yet.
Maybe I can win Nova.
You got 2 days you can grind. And you can grind.
All right.
Nova?
Nova's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Basically a week and a half. So excited for that. Malekith will prevail. I've been busy painting. I started my tiger finally. And it's starting to look pretty good. This is all blue so far, by the way. So I think that's actually
nice.
Like that white's coming out real nice.
Bringing it up. Yep.
Slowly but surely. I'm spending so much time on the tiger. And I I touched up my. I'm totally jumping though. This should be hobby corner. Anyways,
Fine, let's hobby corner right now. Like,
I repainted my not repainted, but I touched up my MODOK because he was looking a little green, and it came out really nice actually. I was playing a game with the wife, and she was like, "Why does he look green?" I'm like, "It's yellow." She's like, "No, that's green." I'm like, "No, it's yellow," and so then I touched him up a little bit and just made his chair gold. So some hobby stuff right there.
That's some good motivation from the wife. Be like, hey,
Yeah,
your painting is
your paint
bad.
sucks. Your paint
gotta
job
fix that
sucks.
my wife is my harshest critic. I thought I was my harshest critic, but she is my harshest critic. I repainted her crossbones once, and I was like, hey, I showed her the picture of the before picture, and then I showed her the after picture, and she was like, I like the first one better. Do you still have that one?
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. All right. Let's move on. So we're gonna move on to our series finally, getting into the crisis talk. And we finished Secures last week, and now we are moving on to extracts. And we are going to start with Hyper's favorite extract, and that is Spider Infected. Hyper, did you pull up the Matrix?
What?
Sorry. You haven't been here a while. You probably don't understand the reference now.
I don't at all. I know The Matrix is a movie. I like that movie.
Go to the crew chat, and there should be a.
I'm going right now.
There should be a
Let's see.
core crisis matrix. All right, Sam. We have Spider Infected. What's the shape?
Got Spider
Core
Infected.
crisis.
It's an F shape. It's an F shape. It's fast. It has a center objective.
What does this
So-
mean? There are so many words here.
Right? They're talking
Shape,
points.
grabs,
Just like
Heimdall. Why is Heimdall a talking point?
I put him in
it's
there because
a-
I was super hot on Heimdall at the moment.
Yep. It's
I'm gonna
great.
take
I
it
love
out of
it. We're
there.
looking
Can I
back.
take stuff out?
You're looking back. No, but you can
Oh.
like
I can't edit.
you can comment. I
Oh.
don't know. You should be able to edit.
He's not signed in. That's why.
I am signed in.
It says
My
you're an
account.
anonymous skunk.
I'm literally. This is my Google account. Whatever.
Your Google account is an anonymous. Oh, you're anonymous dragon. That's what it is.
What are you talking? Oh wait, I can't edit. All right, deleting
Okay.
Heimdall. There we go.
You can't just delete it. Ugh, man.
I just
Okay.
did.
This is what happens. We've been doing so good about keeping on track. All right. As Sam was
Anonymous
saying,
Coyote.
it
Who
is
that?
that's probably somebody. I don't know. It's an F shape, fast center. It shares the shapes with cubes and scoundrels. You also put shares shape with sword question mark. Do you want to explain that? Sam?
Well, shares type with sword, right? So
Oh, type. I read shape.
yeah. I mean, we should probably maybe so like what we haven't talked about anything being fast yet. So like, what is a fast crisis?
Spiders.
Score
It's a
fast.
fast crisis. Yeah.
Scores fast, right?
A lot
So
of points.
There's a lot of points available, right? There's 5 points available in Spider Infected. It's an F map, so there's 5 different points where the extract is on the map. One's in the middle, then there's basically 2 on each player side, right? So like one, yeah, like a B map. It's a little bit closer than B map, but it's basically the same as a B map.
It's a B with a C in the middle.
Yeah, boom. There's your middle point, right in the middle. So what this means is that you've got 5 different points up for grabs because these are extracts, right? So an extract, you're gonna in almost every situation, you're gonna walk up to it, you're gonna pay a power, you're gonna pick it up, and then you've got it on that character, and you got to figure out what to do with it now, which usually is how do I keep this character alive? Which sometimes means run away, and sometimes means fight your patootie off. But it's fast and it's central. That center point, you've got a grab on the middle. So it's either a safe grab, right? So a safe grab is something where you are trying to grab the middle and then get back to a point where you are no longer in danger from most, if not all, of your opponent's pieces.
Yeah. And it's fast. It's fast. Real
It's
fast.
fast.
It's like Sonic.
Real
It's got to go fast.
All
Oh,
gas, no
man.
brakes.
All gas, no brakes. I mean, like, the biggest thing you got to think about with fast is, like, you really have to be paying attention to, like, the board state and how much you can allow your opponent to score, how much you need to score, because the game will be over before you know it. Like, you can have a game that's going, like, you're like, man, I am killing at this game. I am so up on attrition, and I just lost. What happened? Like, that mindset
forgot
has
what-
gone through so many times in my head.
I think it's Von Darkmoor. That's the guy. He held like a one-day tournament that I
Yeah.
played in, and the game was super back and forth, and then I just scored 8, and the game was over.
It's insane. Like if you have like
Yeah.
the amount of people there that can hold them, because you can only hold one per person, which is something that's like super important.
Right.
Like you can only hold one per person, and if you're in like a killy list and you can end up getting all 5, that's probably game. Like if not, like that's really setting the stage for the game just to be over, because that's 5 just from the extract, and that's why it's fast, real
It's
fast.
fast. So fast.
All right. So you
So
have
the one per person. I mean, one per person is something that's probably just worth talking about as Spider Infected just in general, right? Because that's
Balanced.
just like so. In my opinion, Spider Infected may be one of the best extracts in the game currently, because it is 1 per character. There are 5 points of them. There is a center grab, so there's that you're drawn to the middle of the board. You can only carry 1 of them, and then on top of that, you've got this RNG element where during the power phase, everyone holding a spider rolls a die, and if it's a hit critter wild, you move, and your opponent controls that advance. So it's a very flexible move that happens with the spider infected, and it can be real bad, or it can be real good, or nothing happens.
I like the 2 core crises that are Fs in cubes and spiders, because they both have balancing factors. But the potential move from spider infected is honestly way worse and like much less mitigatable than the 1 damage from cubes. We have like 4 different characters who can mitigate the damage from cubes.
And so the 1 per character is another huge factor for this one, right? So with cubes, you can stack all that on your Thanos or your your Hulk, your big body. He can just hold multiple cubes for multiple rounds, and so long as he's not getting too much heat on him, he's probably going to be just fine about it. He's also going to get hella powered up, and like that's cubes with spider infected. Now, if you're like a 4 wide roster, you literally cannot hold all the objectives on the table.
Yeah.
Plus, you might be taken out of position.
I think some of the like Wired Current put in here. I have mixed feelings about Spider Extract with Guardians being a go-to, because typically Groot's sitting there holding stuff, and you don't want him to be holding something. And that's a very good point, because that's something you got to be considering. Like who's the people that are picking up the spiders? Because like right now I'm playing Malekith. I don't want Malekith picking up a spider because I don't want him getting out of position, because his positioning is so important.
Infected is the classic like anti-attrition, anti-Black Order crisis, because it makes the reality gem a liability. They already don't want to pick it up. On top of that, but yeah, no, and it's funny because like I really like it, and I'll play Hulk on Spider Infected, even though people are traditionally like you want to go wide on Spider Infected. But for me, it's like, well, unless you have Black Cat, you're not getting that back from Hulk. He's just going to keep it the entire game, and sure, he'll wiggle around a bit, but he's got Gamma Leap, he's got usually Avengers Assemble to mitigate it. He's going to be able to still put in work.
Time to unleash the Drax. Absolutely.
He's got, I mean, so like those are characters that both have kind of like answers to Spider Infected, like built in, right? So like Hulk's got the Gamma Leap, so he can get right back to where he was at least, and Malekith's got the Charge. And like you guys like seem to have differing opinions on it, but like it's still not your favorite thing to have a Spider Infected hanging out on that guy.
Well, I think that's
No, I
different
love it.
because like
Well,
Hulk,
there you go, fair enough.
Hulk's able to do different things with his actions versus Malekith. If like let's say I got short moved, and now I have to like gamble on if my charge is good enough to get me into range, whereas before I was good. So it changes like the aspect of like if I have a spider on Mal and I get moved, then I'm not in my prime position to do everything needed, and it might actually make me not be able to hit the target that I was trying to hit. And in my opinion, target priority or target, like your target, who you want to kill with Mal, is so important, because if I'm left with, I was going to be able to kill, let's say, Rocket, but now I'm left with Luke Cage as my only option. I don't like that odd. Like, I don't like those odds. Like, it's actually incredibly hard to one round or one shot Luke Cage versus one shot in your Rocket.
And that's why Mal's bad.
And that's why Mal's bad. All right. So you have on here RNG. That's talking about the rolling for the move it.
Yeah, so RNG, like this is a crisis where you just you never know what you're going to get from round to round. The more spiders you've got, the better chance that your game plan is going to get kind of derailed, at least to a certain extent. So you kind of want to bake that in to your strategy on Spider Infected, because you can't count on being able to move your opponents, hitters away or their extract runners closer, and you can't do the same thing for your own guys. And you're going to find your hitters moved away, and you're going to find your extract runners just pushed right into the thick of things. So it's got that RN Jesus element to it. So pray, hope. It happens during the power phase too.
Yeah.
So it's a good point to remember that it's player effects, neutral effects, crisis effects in the power phase. Right. So the first thing you do is you gain power, and then player with priority, right, gets to do their player effects, then back neutral effects, which I don't really know how much neutral effects we got in the power phase, but then crisis effects. This is a crisis effect in the power phase. So it's one of the last things that happens in the power phase, and the player with priority is going to decide the order. So you get some interesting pairings with this, with like Demons Downtown and Infinity Formula, where the power gain from Infinity Formula can happen after Spider Infected are moved towards or away from points, and same thing with the Incinerate from Demons Downtown.
Oh, here's a fun one for you, right? Cosmic portals. I got moved by the spider, get pushed onto the cosmic portal on the other side, hit that now, and now I'm pushed even farther away. Like there's like some really crazy wacky combinations. I think that's something that's worth actually talking about, is like when you're playing spiders, understanding like as the priority player, sometimes it's actually like really good to mess with which crises is popping first.
Also, I saw someone in chat mention it, but yes, Mysterio and Spider Infected is really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Mysterio's great. Anybody who punishes like any of the tricks and traps type of stuff going on.
And Rocket and Nova.
Right, Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's just like you look at your spiders and it's like, do I want to make them move first or make them like not? Because like Infinity Form is great because like, oh, they're on the point. I'm gonna say spiders first, so my opponent's not gonna get the extra power. Mm-hmm. Now a really fun one is oh man, I lost it. Never mind. Let's move on.
So just think about those crisis combinations, and when you're the priority player, if you can do that, it's really easy to just kind of, especially in a tournament setting where you may or may not be on a like chess clock or a round timer, and you're just trying to get through the power phase together. But it is kind of important sometimes to think about who makes those key decisions, and make sure that they get made.
Yeah, I forgot spiders in top 8 at LVO.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think right there, we all forgot it.
I played 4 games on spiders over the weekend, and I'd say I missed it. There were at least 3 power phases that got missed between the two of us, including my top 8. We barely made it back.
It's nobody
like, oh yeah, no, we got to do that. Yeah, like it's just when both players forget. Like I had one game where we literally said, okay, let's do Spider Infected, and then our game got interrupted, and then we moved on, and we were like, oh, like we even said it. Like we even said it to each other.
Nobody likes doing the spider moves. I think the other thing to consider is it is an advance on the Spider Infected, correct?
Right. Yes, it is.
And I think a lot of people actually mistake it for a push. So I've had that happen where it's like somebody's like, no, it's a push. You got to go this way. I'm like, no, it's an advance. So you have
on corners.
Yeah.
You can't walk on buildings, right? Unless you're a wall crawler or a flyer.
But like they are those things, they can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So that those things become like drawbacks to some extent.
We have Carnage MCP here with Spider Infected trigger Heim's Superpower 2, same as Mysterio.
Yes.
So Mysterio, yes, but Heimdall, absolutely yes. That's actually one of our talking points here. I think we can go ahead and just hit this right now. Heimdall's actually super interesting on Spider Infected. Whenever I played him, I don't know the math, but I actually pretty much every single time I rolled a move and was like, oh crap, I'm moving. I was like, wait, Heimdall's here. Let me re-roll it. And I'm no longer moving. It's actually pretty neat.
You can do crisis re-rolls, that's right.
Yeah, so Heimdall can affect the Spider Infected.
Now Heimdall's forefend falls under the once per turn.
Yep. Okay, so that's the thing that does not work.
Right.
Yeah, so forefend does not work because it says once per turn, and power phase is not a turn. So you cannot forefend due to a Spider Infected.
I like to think that I'm like good at following the rules in these games. One of the most egregious times I've ever cheated in this game is with Heimdall.
Forefending a bunch?
Yeah, I used Thanos and Doom Prophecy to forefend like 8 times in a turn.
Oof.
Oh man, that Thanos Heimdall Thor list got so
Dude,
much less
the
appealing after
Thanos
that,
Heimdall
didn't it?
gas. You know, it really did. I stopped playing it. I was so sad.
Oh man. All right. So next on here we have cubes. What was your point about cubes on this one?
They share a type, and
Type
they're
and shape.
both Fs, right? So the idea is that this is a fast scoring extract. They're both fast scoring extracts. They're both F shapes. So they both come with a core set, right? So you've got access to both of these like right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think they're both really fun. I think that you do maybe want to bring some tools on this type of crisis, right? So like Toad is a very interesting tool. Lizard is a very interesting tool. Anyone who's got a medium base, medium move
Hulk
is a somewhat interesting tool. Yeah, Hulk. Like we'll get into some more like specific strategies with this, but like these are things where
Fury.
yeah, Fury. The same pieces that
Will
you want
not
on
stand
one.
this.
Even though these crises are very different, you want to like look at, those same pieces kind of carry onto cubes and spiders.
I think the crazy thing about cubes though is like it's the same shape. It's still a fast extract, but like the biggest thing about it that like you can have all 5 if you wanted on one character.
Yeah, it's a key difference.
And like that makes like cubes so much more Sweeney than spider infected. Whereas like we have 1 on a person and cubes. I killed 1 person. Now I have 3 cubes plus what I already had. Which happens actually quite a bit. Like somehow, like by the end of the game, there's gonna be like 1 or 2 people who are holding the majority of the cubes.
Yes.
And it's typically a Hulk.
Actually, it's typically shield grunts.
Yeah, or shield grunts.
Gonna full on correct you there.
I mean, that's the cool thing about shield grunts though, is they're able to do that. They can just like scoop up all the cubes and go nom nom nom.
Completely broken.
But yeah, I think that's something that's like very worth noting about like the differences between like spiders, which I think makes spiders actually more of like when you're talking about like a fair. We were talking about like last week with riots being like probably the most fair, secure. I'd argue
What,
that
Extremis?
Yeah. Oh, you missed it. You
For secures. Yeah. That's probably true.
And then I'd argue that spiders is probably the most fair, like least egregious, most annoying. Like so, but like,
I think it's stacked against aggression. Too hard for me to say that it's the most balanced. I think overall hammers is probably still the most balanced.
I disagree with that 100%.
Well, I mean, if the priority player has like an Angela or a Spider-Man, right? Like they're disadvantaged from turn 1.
I disagree.
But you can't grab
a little bit on that. So Angela can grab the middle, but the middle grab is only like the middle grab doesn't even guarantee you 3-2 for what that's worth. And then on top of that, you're putting a spider infected on Angela, and I've played this game enough to know that like having a spider infected on Angela is such a double-edged sword, because if your opponent moves her away, she basically like you lose your agency with a center grab steal with Angela. You grab the center, and then you're at your opponent's kind of whim. If they want her closer and in the fight, then like they move her closer, and you basically just have to be like, okay, let's see what happens when Angela rolls 6 dice at stuff. And if they move you away, you basically have to just like run away, and like maybe you get to do the thing where you like run up, throw something, and then run back away, because Angela needs those actions into stuff to make it worthwhile. Because like it's great when she spikes, but if she doesn't spike, then you're just like great. You take 1, and now I'm standing right in front of you and your whole team, and you're gonna blow me away, and then you're just sad because all she does is roll 4 defense dice.
Yeah,
that's why I like amazing.
But like but still though, like so this is where I think like I still think that spiders over hammers, because like hammers, like you have the issue of you could still do this exact same thing where you're getting multiples with one character, which you can't do with spiders. On top of that, you're becoming much more killy, and then with like the extra power gain you're getting off of because you have more dice. Like the negative tax on hammers is almost kind of like, whatever. I'm gaining more power anyways, like because I'm hitting harder. Like I don't know. I think hammers can be incredibly egregious in like super attrition teams. Like let me get 3 hammers on a Hulk, and
it's awesome. Please let me do that.
But that's the thing though, is like you can't do that with like riots, like not riots. God damn. You can't do that with spider infected. Because you're like you can only pick up 1. So like even if Angela grabs the middle one, like do I really care that much? Because like Sam was saying, I can go and I can send a medium mover, medium base, and go grab one of your home spiders because you can't pick up 2 in 1 round. So like it's probably the most fair extract, in the point that even if you think you have an advantage, it's probably not even really a true advantage.
You know where it is an advantage?
What's that?
Is when you're playing Black Cat Wong Avengers. Like me.
I mean, fair enough.
You're a bad person.
But
Black Cat Wong Avengers was even cooler when field dressing was the thing.
That's fair.
Yeah, I literally played it last season too.
But I guess like my point though is like the fact that you can only hold one really kind of makes it like where you can't do stupid busted plays on like going up and just like, I'm gonna grab 5 extracts this game for this round and I'm gonna have all of them. If you don't have 5 characters that are healthy, like you're not grabbing 5. Like you can't just like score out because you're gonna get characters dazed. I can't carry 2. Whereas with cubes, if I go and I daze all your characters except for 1, you still have a potential to score all 5.
Yep. I don't know. I leave a lot of spider affected on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
that's
fair.
Power move.
Hack you down and just like drop it somewhere close to me. Like, come on, come get it.
Come get it.
And,
But
we'll see
that's
what
where my argument is though. Is like I think Spider Infected is probably the most fair, like across the board, as far as extracts go, because one is your neutral threat value is at 17. You can only hold 1 on a person, so you can't sit there and like have Hulk holding all the VPs and not die. You can't scoop up more than once. Like you can't round 1 things unless you're popping off follow me somehow round 1, which is like, I don't know. I can't think of anybody that can actually pop off follow me round 1. Yeah, that'd be super dumb.
Inhumans could do it with the Power Stone and a Lockjaw for what that's worth. But
Can they though?
But
How
why?
soon? How soon? Can they do
I mean,
it?
you literally could. You just have Lockjaw and Power Stone Ronin sit in the corner, but like, there's no reason to.
Yeah, but like, I can't think of a possible way that we're like, other than like Fury grunts and Shadowlands Daredevil grunts, to where you're picking up 2 on round, like your turn 1 round 1 with Prio. Those are like the only 2 cases that I can actually think of.
With Mr. Oh, we're talking about spiders still. Never mind.
Yeah.
X-Men Corvus Proxima.
They can grab 2.
Yeah.
I guess technically so can Sin and Bones. So there's like, but they're like super like small cases out of a game where we have over 130 characters, where you have
We really that far into it? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Grunts can do it. They can do it.
Like four situations that you need in order, and they're very like, other than the grunts, they're not like super prevalent. Like, yeah, you have Corvus Prox in a bunch of places, but it has to be Corvus Prox and X-Men, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you're playing Corvus Proxima too on whatchamacallit.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
On
you
Spider
do the same thing
Infected,
as
rough.
Sin and Bones. Like
Yeah.
they can do like this, like that, like where like Proxima goes up or Corvus goes up and grabs this one, and then husband and wife, but you're super exposed with that. Like X-Men can actually do X-Men Corvus and Proxima can do a very safe grab.
Yeah. But like that's the second point though, is like there's so few corner cases that make that crises like, wow, you just grabbed like 3 out of 5 and there's nothing I can do about it. But like there is something you can do about it in most games, versus like hammers where, oh, it's the end of round and you have 3 out of 4. I'm down technically 2 points at this point, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like that's my point being with like how I would argue strongly, and I have been actually, that Spider Infected is the most fair extract.
I think you're right.
All right, everybody have a good night. I'm
Someone just tell an opinion just change on the internet. My goodness.
No, I really like your point about hammers was apt. I will admit being wrong. You were right.
all right. I don't know where to go from here. Let's
All
Well,
right.
we have other things to talk about, right?
yeah.
Well, like safe grabs, right? So like, your argument like really covered like half the talking points for the second part.
Sorry.
No, it's perfect.
Wait, so can we talk about another thing that you can do with hammers that's broken, I guess?
Why not?
Because it's something that I plan on doing in the future a lot.
Let's do
I
it.
love this card, Eye of Surprise. Eyes on the prize is cool. So whether or not you get priority, if you give either Juggernaut or Hulk eyes on the prize and stick them right in the middle where they can already get a hammer, you can grab either of the side hammers, terrain permitting. And terrain permitting for those big bases is really easy.
Oh yeah.
So I like having 2 hammers with Hulk at the start of his first turn.
That's fair.
You can do it with cubes too, but I don't like cubes.
You could pretty much do it with anything.
You can hold 2 of. The whole point is holding 2 of them.
Yeah.
No, it's a medium base, medium move, or a large base. Like either one can do it.
Or you just play
Have a
Degenerate
large
Mal.
base and you pick up one, and yeah.
You just
go
play
grab the other one.
Degenerate Mal, where you just yeah.
Dude, Malekith's bad. We've been over this.
Yeah, you're right. He's bad. He's bad when he's running with Omega and Sinister in the list and getting 3 hammers is fun. Anyways, we're not talking about hammers.
Yeah, I heard
so
you
excited
muttering
for
back
Nova.
there about your secret plans that'll never happen.
But it happens every time. All right, we need to settle this game of ours where we play this out.
We do.
but-
Yeah.
I need to
I
beat
get
another
revenge.
kitty. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll,
I have to.
I'll do it again.
I have to get revenge for Sam.
Oh man, I got beat so bad it made me reevaluate like every life choice I've ever made.
Yeah, you went from going like super hard, like I'm taking Malekith to Nazcon, I'm taking Malekith to Nova, to losing that game and just throwing Malekith like in the trash essentially, and I had to convince you to take Malekith in Asgard. Like
I literally just just dialed it all back and like went back to my comfy place. I was like, what if I just like play some Thor and throw some hammers?
Yeah, the funny thing is my comfort place is Hulk. Man, I'm crying a little bit, not gonna lie. I had no idea that was the reaction.
Oh no, I mean I'm joking, man. But like that game,
Of course,
that game
yeah.
was super fun. We did exactly what like we said we were gonna do. We played
Yeah.
like some top quality MCP where
Fucking wrestlers, dude.
yeah, just go at it. It was a blast, and I have no regrets about that. game.
no regrets.
No regrets. I've never seen that movie.
Don't. All right, Montesi. What did you want to talk about Montesi on this one?
Montesi rules.
So Montesi's another one that has. So this is one that right. Like if you're running Spider Infected in your roster and you're like, I want to run another 17 extract, and you're like, well, I got cubes, but I don't know what else to do. Montesi's another option for you, right? So Montesi shares a center point grab, which Spider Infected has. So if you're built to do well on Spider Infected, you're probably built to do pretty well on Montesi. And then it's also, you can only hold one of them. So again, it's very fair in that respect. So we're not stacking all the objectives on a massive Hulk that's just super hard to chew through. And if you're built for Spider Infected, you're probably pretty good on cubes. And if you don't love Spider Infected and you want something that's maybe a little bit slower, Montesi's another option for you to look at. If you're not sold on playing Spider Infected, but you like some aspects of it, like its fairness, and well, it's fairness. That's about it. So Montesi gives your opponent a beam, so it's a completely different kind of drawback from Spider Infected. But it's also, I guess, just as RNG, right? Because now we're just doing RNG in the form of a range 3
Attacks, death
energy
beam.
beam. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I got burnt out on Montesi because of like, like I'm so tired of getting beamed to death, and like that was like the worst thing with like playing X Force. I know we're not talking. I keep okay. Anyways, I would.
No,
like,
I love it. I love it. It's old
Have you
Dyzard, like
tried
sneaking back
X-Force
in.
Malekith? I feel like X-Force Malekith might be good.
it's actually not very that great. I tried it and I was
Whoa.
very disappointed.
You mean shoving a character that's only sort of okay into a leadership that's only sort of okay does not produce a good result? I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, like
Madness.
people were like, "Hey, what about Malekith and X Force?" And I was like, "Yeah, no." Like it's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it's like you're so like hamstrung by people being 5 threat. Like sure, you can like play like 23 Domino Badger Malekith. That's what 3, 6, 8, 15. Like that's not terrible, but at that point, like why don't you just go play Malekith Cabal, which is what I did. But anyways, like Montesi, like I used to play Montesi with X Force because I was like, I want something that's like not too fast, not too slow, something that I feel like I have agency on. I can't afford to bring a bunch of characters, so Montesi was like a good middle ground. But then I just find myself a lot of times just getting burned by like, I'm just getting like literally burned by Montesi.
I like Montesi.
I like it, but it's like there's so many times that it's just like my opponent got the 2 books and there wasn't anything I could do about it. Nowadays under Malekith, like I love Montesi because there's like a very high percentage I'm getting 2 books. Unless you have like the grab and run play, which that's the only thing that hurts. But
Hybrid, do you like giving grunts a beam?
do you like giving grunts a beam?
I do, especially when Fury can give them a beam with a reroll.
Oh man. Yeah, that like giving the grunts, like that's the
Do you
craziest.
consider
thing.
that a beam with a reroll on a fucking
Yeah.
zero threat character?
I mean,
Great.
even like
Fantastic.
the hand ninjas using it like isn't bad.
You know who
Make it
else is
less
good with
reroll.
Montesi? Black
Yeah,
Panther.
no.
Black Panther,
Black
yeah. Zemo. Oh, no, Zemo, never mind. Black Panther.
All right. So next on here we have our points of discussion, which you probably hit most of them already.
Yeah, I think so.
We have the R&D movement. So on a random dice, you're gonna move. We've talked about that quite a bit. We have safe grabs. That's like the grab and run. Like, is that what you're meaning here, or what? Are
Yeah,
you...
pretty much. Like if you've got like something like an X-Men hop where you can get into a position where you can reach the center point, interact with it, and then move back to a position where you're safe or relatively safe, barring Malekith or a Thanos. You know, like those kind of things.
the
where,
things that suck.
Safe is relative. Yeah, safe is relative.
Deception. Never forget
Right.
Deception. I've been surprised at how many folks don't understand how that card works. So I want to talk about it as much as I can.
Okay, I'm gonna train rail us hard right now. Have you guys noticed like an insane uptick in the amount of Mystique being played in the game?
No, because I barely play, but
Okay,
also
fair.
Mystique just should be played more. She's just
No, I agree, but I feel like I've seen way more Mystique recently than I have since she came out.
I think right around when we got the change to like the restricted list
Yeah.
and like the rotation is when we started seeing more Mystique, because that's when I was seeing a lot of her. It's like over Magneto.
Yeah.
People stopped playing Magneto and started playing Mystique. I also
Well, I just think
I've
Mystique
always
Splash.
been Mystique stan. So
Yeah.
Mystique Splash. I do not know what you're talking about.
I think that Mystique's kit is just amazing, and so she's a character that as the game goes on, we're gonna see periods where maybe Mystique disappears, but we're also gonna see plenty of periods where she comes roaring back because almost everything that happens in the game, you're like, oh, like this is good for Mystique. How does
Yeah.
Mystique like make this better? So like
How
I
does-
think when Juggernaut released, we saw an uptick in Mystique because now like when you can do you know who I am on Mystique's turn, they can't brace it. When Suns got released, you saw an uptick in Mystique
Yeah.
because you could Siege of Darkness on your Mystique turn. Now they can't react to it at all. It's like there's plenty of situations that have been introduced where like everyone just like peek brings like either Mystique into an affiliation where she wasn't, or a Splash Mystique starts to kind of have even more benefit than she would have before.
She's sneakily like somehow. I just feel like she's just been undervalued this entire time for some reason. And like I've always
People
loved her.
they don't use her for what she's good at, which is being a really insanely good objective runner and on turn 1 and sometimes on turn like 4
Yeah.
a free Thanos.
Yep.
Like that grappling hook of Deception is
I mean, it's the best
Such
movement in
a-
the game.
it's-
Like it's
yeah, it's
other
not even
than
close.
other than like it being like if you have somebody within 2, then okay, you don't get it. But the fact that you move somebody their speed like is insane. Like I'm
And
gonna
there,
move
there
this
are two
long
things
mover.
in this game that literally get better every time a new character is released. It's Steve Rogers' leadership and Mystique as a character.
Fair.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Well, it's like
And I think
her
that- right.
shut off defensive tech is just so good sometimes.
Yeah.
Like she's good into Malekith. Like she
Yeah.
shuts off his skulls, and then he's just 4 flat dice, which
Yeah.
probably is gonna whiff at least once throughout her entire
Like,
rapid fire.
this
plays.
Kingpin guy is pretty cool. Unless he's fighting Mystique, then he's like kind of trash.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even
Sorry
Juggernaut.
about your Ghost
4
Rider.
flat dice. Yeah, even Juggernaut. I had a game where I don't remember what it was, but I was playing like Brotherhood in a semi-competitive way. Like I think it was like a practice game or something, and I was like trying to figure out like, oh no, it was during the season when I was playing Juggernaut against someone playing Mystique Brotherhood, and there was technically a way for them to have beaten me, even though they were behind the entire game. They could have on Mystique's turn used "Do You Know Who I Am" to throw my Juggernaut into something, so he would take 1 that he can't reduce, and then have Mystique blow something up, and he would take 2 that he couldn't reduce. So it was a completely like diceless play that they had on the table that neither of us realized until like the next day.
That's the best ones right there.
See, you heard it here first. Nobody's good at Crisis Protocol.
True. All right. So you have in here aggressive grabs. That's pretty much where you take someone like Juggernaut or Hulk. Someone who can like get in. I guess can Hulk
I
get?
feel like that's a bully grab, right? Like a Juggernaut or a Hulk, where you're just like gonna throw like this like giant meat bag out
could do it
into your
safely,
opponent's stuff. Yeah, so there are safe grabs that they can do, but I mean like literally just like grabbing like your opponent's home B with an aggressive grab. But I feel like a bully grab is when you just like throw like a giant meat sack out that just gets shot
the
at
king
for a
of
turn
doing
and
that
run
is
away.
Lizard, right?
Yeah.
Lizard's the aggressive grab. Toad's an aggressive grab too, right? And what's interesting is that they're both different. They're differently terrain, like adequate and dependent. They're both wall crawlers. So as long as you can land somewhere, you're probably good. But then Toad has that range 2 grab. So sometimes your Toad, like he can run up to a place that Lizard wouldn't be able to land, and he can grab that. So if you're running Lizard and Toad on an F extract, you have crazy options for it. And then if you throw in a like an Amazing Spider-Man or an Angela, now you have literally multiple plays on the home extracts, because Angela and Angela and Amazing Spider-Man can both safe grab the center where they grab it and move back themselves, or they can also double long move and grab either of the home, your opponent's home spiders or cubes, and then you've got Toad and Lizard who can grab your opponent's home cubes, and Toad is weirdly survivable because of slippery
5 health.
and 5 health on his healthy side, and Lizard has healing factor, damage reduction, and he can usually get in there and take a couple hits. So if you're running one or more of those, you want to make sure that you're looking at that play. And another thing is a small base long mover can also hit those opponents B. So Black Panther is another major threat. So when you're setting up on Spider Infected, if you see a Lizard or a Toad lining up basically directly on your home, on their home, Spider Infected or Cube, right, they can get to yours. So watch out for that. And then when it comes time to actually like start picking up those extracts, if you have an opponent who's only threatening one of yours, just make sure that's your play, is now that home extract of yours. It's not the center anymore, because like I mentioned earlier, grabbing the center doesn't actually guarantee you a 3-2 split on an F extract. It really only guarantees you the center. You can still go down 2 to 3 pretty easily.
Yeah. Like another thing to hit on that you kind of mentioned earlier, but we didn't really go in depth on, is just abandoning them. I think a lot of times, like especially if I'm running like an attrition heavy list, there's times where I just won't pick up my spiders on the home, and I'm just gonna go after making you drop your spiders and then not taking your spider. I've done that quite a few times with attrition heavy lists. Like maybe I'll pick up one of my home ones, but I'll leave one there because I want my other piece to get into the fight, or I want them to do some sort of control effect. But it's like there's value for me in other places than leaving that there. And if I'm grabbing that spider and I'm bringing it towards the fight, this gives it more of a chance for you to get it and get more points at some point during the game. Whereas I'm trying to take points away from you by taking out your models and then taking your spider.
That's a good YouTube clickbait title, is scoring points loses you games. But it's true.
I mean, yeah, if you're playing an attrition heavy list, a lot of times it's an extremely valid strategy.
Yeah, like I think spiders are currently over-reliant on advanced R&D when you can just not pick up anything and win the game that way.
What?
Say
it again.
I think spider people, the web warriors, are currently over-reliant on advanced R&D.
Yeah.
When you can just not pick stuff up sometimes. You can just have Wong give someone like one power that they actually need, and then have the rest of your team run around doing other stuff besides scoring points. They're just going that one extra, because Miles is always going to be able to grab something. Gwen, not so much. Black Cat, not so much. Moon Knight, sure, amazing. That's literally all he does. But you don't need to have all of your characters grabbing shit every turn.
That's fair. Fair enough. What do we got next? Heimdall?
Just on that note, like Rocket and Groot is another one of those, because if you grab something with either one of those guys, then your deadly duo may not be online turn 2. Now, if you don't want to play Deadly Duo on turn 2, like fine. But if you pick up something with either of them, you can't. So more options, usually more better.
More options, more better. That's unless you're Malekith, then you're just left with low options.
Then you need laser focus and
Love it.
constant success.
Constant success. So we kind of hit on Heimdall earlier with like the whole forefin thing. Again, you cannot use forefin during the spider people movements, but you can reroll the spider people dice to see if you can stop it from happening. You cannot reroll your opponent's spider people dice, of course, but yeah. Then you have reality.
So reality is actually a detriment on this crisis, because when your probably Corvus picks up a spider infected, you're going to roll for that spider infected, and the reality gem is going to make the skull an additional movement. And I've said in numerous places, numerous ways, when you're playing Corvus Glaive, you probably don't want to pick up a spider infected with it unless it's literally going to win you the game.
Yeah. All right.
Propaganda. Your reality gem holders should be holding spider people. Guys, a success is a good thing. When you roll a success, that means that you're happy. So rolling a success on
'cause it's
spider, reality makes you
successful.
better at that. Exactly.
All right.
Success means win.
Do you guys have any closing thoughts on spider infected?
I like this crisis. It's a good crisis.
I like the more I think about it, and this happened like last week's conversation too, is I think like spider infected is probably that one crisis where it's like you have your two, you're like, I am good at this and this, but I can't decide on my third. Just throw spider infected in there. Similar to riots, like it's probably like the most fair, least like let me gain an advantage over you on crisis. Sure, there's always gonna be somebody who can like gain an advantage.
I think Infinity Formula is more like.
Yeah, but that's a
fair
secure.
than,
That's a secure.
Extremis. I know,
That's-
but Extremis.
Oh no, we talked about that actually last week.
D is worse than B from more teams. IMO.
So that we actually talked really hard about this last week. So let's you know what let's rehash this real quick because you weren't here, and I'm really curious on your take. Tell me now, what is the difference between a D and a C?
A D and a C.
Yes.
One has one in the middle,
Okay.
and the other
But-
one does not have, and it has two on the close to you and away from you.
But on both scenarios, you're still sending at least 2 to 3 people to that side point.
Okay.
So, like, what is the difference between a C and a D? Like,
One has one in the middle, and one has close to you and away from you.
but you're still, but like that's the point though. Is like you're like regardless if it's a C or a D, you're still doing pretty much the same technique or same tactic. It's just like, yeah.
Well, you're also leaving someone behind, and that's like on a C, you don't really need a back point setter. On a D, you absolutely do.
Well, you're not wrong. But my argument last week was so much better because I was setting ready for it. I set myself up for
You were
failure
ready
on
for
this
it.
one.
You were ready
I set
for it.
myself up for failure this time. But like my biggest thing about like by riots is like being like the most fair, like secure, was really just like there's really no difference between like an attrition team wants like people around the center line because they want to get somebody in there. The scenarios teams want that distance between points because then they can do like a rotating strat or like know that they're safe and they're not going to be touched. So it's like you kind of have like the best of both worlds on a D. And I mean, even attrition teams, in my opinion, actually like D more than we think because they're able to go and win that 1v1 or win that 2v2 on that side point, and then have their person who is going to be sitting back there, like ready for reinforcements or backup, while you're winning that side flank. Versus on a C, you have to be sure that you're winning that side flank and your middle point is like able to hold ground, or the other way around, your side point's able to hold ground and you're winning that middle point. So it's like, and I'd actually strongly argue that a D is better for attrition teams than a C because of that.
So doesn't that make it less balanced if it's better for a certain kind of team?
But then it comes back to the conversation about, like, let's say web warriors. Web warriors are insane with their mobility, and they can bounce between Ds like crazy. You take Panther, he could bounce between Ds like crazy. And like those are typical like scenario team pieces to where they're able to bounce between the pieces, like between the D shapes, super easily, or control people off of them super easy. versus again on a C where they're not going to like that because that middle point creates a lot more contention, a lot less space. And this comes back to me saying, like, I guess you said infinity formula. Then like infinity formula, you just have like the wave. You're going to have that wave where you're going to lose one side. Like this is just going to happen. Where on a D, you're typically, in my opinion, like the most common strat is I'm going to take this corner of the board, and the opponent end up taking this corner of the board. And then something happens that makes like the paths cross eventually. But like infinity is like, I'm just going to crash through this side and my other side's going to hold ground. And then I'm just going to come over and clean up the other side. So like infinity, like also infinity has a huge upside. Whereas like riots, there's no huge upside. Some teams use power better than others. Like riots, you're spending a power to heal. So it's like, yeah, it's a great benefit, but you're still like costed something versus infinity. Everybody just gains something. And more than often than not, one team is being able to utilize that power gained more than the other team is. Do I get another concession?
No, I still think I'm right on this one.
That's fair. I will agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But I still think, like, as far as like not riots, spider infected goes, I feel like that might be like something that
I agree on that one for sure. I think that is like probably the most balanced crisis.
Yeah. It's just super interesting though, because you have like, oh, I'm playing an attrition team that goes like more tall. Like even if you have 3 characters, you still have a chance to get 3 spiders round 1 because you're doing attrition. You could potentially pull that person into you and take out the person who grabbed the middle spider, and then you're up on scenario. Yeah, you have everybody holding the spider, which might not be the best thing in the world, but at the end of the game, VPs matter, right?
This goes against what you said earlier, but yes.
It's okay. It's fine. Like I think that's one of those situations where I'd probably like leave one behind and I'd go for like your spider, whoever grabbed the one in the middle, because then I'm parity.
Yeah. If you're forcing them to come into you to get your spider and you're playing a big scary team, that's a good thing for you.
Absolutely. But
like, hey, please walk into my Scarlet Witch. I would love for you to do that.
But I just think like it's just super interesting to look at, because I feel like a lot of times when I'm playing like an attrition focused team, I'm like, man, I'm playing 4 models. I really don't want to play spiders, when it's like maybe I'm better on spiders with that team than I actually thought I was.
That's what I'm saying. Hulk is insane on spiders.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think people should probably be playing more spiders. I think spiders should probably be like the most played extract instead of hammers. I think hammers is like hammers lends itself to like everybody thinks they're the best at hammers, and then they get proved wrong.
It does surprise me how often we see hammers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. I played 6 games over the weekend. Of those 6 games, I played 4 of them on Spider Infected. I played a real life event. If there's one thing to say about real life events, is that you have to have the pieces that you bring to play with. It's not like TTS where we can just be like, I'm going to play with this brand new crisis. I'm going to play with this crisis I don't have because I don't want to buy that box, right? Like whatever it is where you're just like, I'm going to do this thing. You have to actually be like, I'm going to commit and I'm going to have this thing. So Spider Infected, everybody has it, or at least almost everyone has it. And really, honestly, everyone should, because the core set is an amazing value.
I was blown away when someone told me they just didn't buy the core set in my local area. And like, why would you do that? You haven't played Zemo?
Okay. Like, find someone who wants terrain. There you go, right? There it is. This is playing in real life. So now he owns Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
A little inside joke. It was funny because I was going through and I was like, what box does Researcher come in? Like, why do I not have Researcher? I thought I had Researcher.
It comes in the best box ever.
You got Sinister. You could have played Virus. Just saying.
Good. But no, it's like a very good point. And it's like, I mean, I'm one of the people that pretty much own. There's very few boxes that I'm missing. That was one of them up until recently.
4 of 6 games on Spider Infected. Like that's a lot of Spider Infected. Like, so even if you're not bringing Spider Infected, you should probably plan on
playing on it,
because
the
time's coming. Yeah, it's a core set crisis. Everybody has it, and it's super fair. It's good for wide lists. I would not bring Spider Infected if you are playing a tall attrition list, but at the same time, you still got to have a plan for it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bad secures out there if you're playing a tall list, and you probably want to bring your secures, which means I think you're subject to their extracts.
I think like where the issue lies with like tall list playing spiders is you have to worry about the secure. Like that point right there.
Mhm.
Like if this like scoundrels and spider infected, like good luck. Like you are not picking up spiders at some point in this game. Because you need to get on those scoundrel points. But it's like it's super interesting to think about it. Like I'd agree. Like if you're like super high attrition, you probably don't want to bring it. But I think if you're down to that point where it's like, man, I don't know what I want for my last extract. Like I'm not too good at this. I'm okay at this. I really don't want to see this one. Like I feel like it's okay to just throw in there as like your third.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want
I'd
to talk
agree with
about on spiders? No. Going once. Going twice. Play spiders.
Should play spiders.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on. We got sales pitch of the week. You know what? Hyper, you've been gone for a while. Do you want to do sales pitch of the week?
Nice.
Remind me, sales pitch isn't like the list one, right? It's just have to
No.
say like a thing.
Yeah.
Pick a thing in the game that you want to sell.
Yeah, sell
Okay.
it. MCP official
should-
dice.
We should ban or we should unban Wakandan Herb. As a community, we should decide that the ban it was too soon. It was a rash decision on our parts and the parts of the developers. And we should collectively decide to stop bitching about a crisis that we don't understand fully. And it should be okay to just not have an extract ever get scored, and for spiders to cry. You know, that should exist in the game. That's my elevator pitch. My sales pitch.
I have one question. Is this influenced at all by playing Shield?
What? I've played Shield like twice.
Oh, I thought you were playing Shield right now because you're talking so much about Fury and everything.
I mean, he plays Fury.
No, I've been playing Fury because I have to eat a shoe if I don't win Season 8.
Fair. Fair.
Also because Fury literally like I know we're not like a battle rep thing or whatever, but Fury I played Fury today in my league game. He and the grunts each attacked one time, and I think he scored me a total of 7 victory points by himself.
Yeah, he's great. Like, Fury's a great
Fucking
model.
broken. I love Fury. But no, I don't. I played Shield like once. And
fair
the
enough.
biggest draw for Shield, in my opinion, and I know like people have telling me, no, you're wrong. I play Shield because it's like versatile, blah blah blah. No, Eye in the Sky every turn, big cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. We kind of hit Hobby Corner earlier. Hyperviper's Hobby Corner is attempting to get more games in with his busy schedule.
Oh my god, ridiculous! I get to play tonight. I get to play a game with my friend tonight. It's so exciting. I haven't done it in like weeks.
Nice. What are you guys doing? Are you doing like fancy stuff? Or are you doing like, prep stuff? Or are you just like playing rando stuff?
At this point, I'm basically giving up on prep. It's not gonna happen. So like whenever I get to play, I'm just trying to have fun. Because I've been playing some variation of my Avengers list for like over a year now.
Yeah.
There's my LVO list. I played something like it last season. I know what I'm doing. I'm the best Hulk in the world. Come at me. So no, we're gonna play funsies. I'm playing Defenders tonight. I wanted to play some combination of Amazing Spider-Man and Hulk, so I'll be playing Defenders.
Oh, fair enough.
Nice.
That sounds nice. All right.
Hope you're at 16 plus, my friend.
What does that mean?
It's a 16 plus,
means-
16 threat. Because you got a 5 threat
Yeah.
leader.
Oh! I'm not gonna play the leader.
Oh,
Fair.
well,
There you go.
Yeah, Strange is in my list, I think.
Maybe?
fair enough.
All right.
I don't think Classic Strange is honestly like not that great.
Classic Strange is great. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
He has good things.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. But I don't think he's an every game model. So if you're going mono affiliated, I think being comfortable going leaderless is necessary. And I've been playing it that way since I played it back when like all you got was a thing.
Fair. All right. We have challenge of the week. Man. Sam, you did one last week. Hybrid did his sales pitch, so I
did.
guess I get challenge of the week. What would be a fun one? What's a character I haven't seen on the table in a while? Man. I want to see some Kraven. I want to see Kraven get played.
Kraven the Hunter, I love that
Yeah,
guy.
I love playing Kraven when I do. So let's do. I would say like anything with Craven, but that's a little too freeform. Let's just do like a Spider Foes list, but it has to have Craven and built in using Craven at every single point value. Like you have to play with Craven at every single threat value.
That's not hard to do either.
No, it's
What
not
about
hard.
this,
Actually,
It's
can I
not
add
hard to
something
do.
your thing? It's
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
gonna be really hard to. You can't play Lizard.
Yeah, you can't play Lizard. There we go. That works.
Because Craven would hunt him.
No, I was thinking more because like if you're ever in a situation where the choice between Lizard and Craven
It's
in a
always
realistic
Lizard.
situation, you're probably gonna pick Lizard. So you just can't pick Lizard.
It's a wicked world we live in.
I'm spitting facts out here. It's what I gotta do.
All right, it's official. Foes with Craven at every single threat value with no Lizard allowed. There we go.
Did you guys ever listen to Advanced R&D, the old podcast?
Yeah.
That was the fucking. I love that podcast because it was
I
just
mean-
like they would try. It was like a challenge, so it was
Yeah.
something you couldn't have as well as something that you had to do. I like that. That's a good list building ethic.
I kept trying to get them to like let me on for another episode, and they said we're not gonna let you play X-Force. I'm like, I understand this. I just like I love the premise of the show. I wish they'd have more time so they could do it more often. Like I miss their.
They should have. They should have just let you play X-Force with no restrictions. And then let me say, Dyzard, your restriction is you have to play X-Force.
He just loses anyway.
Wow. Fair enough. All right. Well,
I guess you couldn't play X-23. That's what they'd say.
Oh, that's brutal.
that,
Jesus Christ.
it could be done.
No X23, no Domino.
Okay,
The
that's
real
that's
man's
impossible.
game.
though.
Oof. Okay, no.
Impossible.
Oof. All right. So on to listener questions then. We have the one from Kenny. This is mostly for Sammy Two Pews, since he was in attendance at NashCon. But what was your biggest takeaway from NashCon this weekend? Anything surprising in that meta?
Asgard's a meta threat is my takeaway from NashCon. So there were 3 Asgard players at NashCon. I was one of them. I got lucky enough on SOS and a little bit of hot dice and a decent day to make the top 8 with Asgard, but I was not the only 4-1 Asgard player. Brandon Terra, who also hangs out with us here in the show, friend of the show, Brandon, went 4-1, and then a dude from Kentucky named Corey Age went 3-2. Sooner wound up knocking us both out, so Sooner's like the Asgard ace or whatever. Fine, but Asgard's for real, guys. Criminals.
Oh, okay.
Criminals, and he had a chance at the whole thing. So
I saw there were a lot of Hulks at NashCon. Did you find that Thor is good against Hulk because he is?
I didn't play. He is good against Hulk. I played one Hulk, and that Hulk found the cube, and my Thor got pretty well controlled out of the game. Yeah.
That's what you want.
I had, because the core got found on the Hulk. Yeah, I wound up in a situation where I had to prioritize a flip secure that we were playing on, and so I was just pushing for parity constantly, which meant that there was a lot of extra movement that my not super wide list was doing. We were 5-on-5, so it was a fantastic game. I wish it was on stream because it was just like a masterclass in playing flips, and I don't so much mean that from myself. I mean like literally, like we were constantly just like making all the right decisions until I saw that the game was going to get away from me if I didn't get aggressive, and then my aggressive plays didn't work out.
I love it when that happens.
Which also sometimes happens when you play Asgard. But outside of getting forced onto potato extract, I think that Asgard's in a really good place in this meta. So don't listen to the haters. Asgard is back. Other than that, Malekith is everywhere. I don't know if he's gonna be everywhere. One of my Jojo Jake, who plays with me locally. So I got a bunch of flack from my locals for constantly just referring to them as my locals. They kept threatening to introduce themselves to players as I'm a
local of Sam.
I'm a player in Finger Guns local meta. So Dojo Jake did this. Jake's a great player. He won our LVOIS, and he had lots of critique for me for running Toad and Lizard all weekend. He ran Midnight Suns, and I mean it was a brutal day for a lot of my guys. But
Midnight
sorry,
Suns, for an affiliation that like has a card that lets you attack 12,000 times in a single turn, it's a surprisingly honest affiliation.
I had 2 guys that brought sons, and like one of them's been on it since the beginning of the game, and we all decided they were in a decent place in the meta. You got Black Cat, you got a Voodoo, like you're good against
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of
like
stuff.
Black Cat's
but
worst place though.
man, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But
It
I
is.
think that Suns could have shown up a lot better, but they're in a rough spot, being somewhat attrition affiliation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have anything to help them. And that was something that I kept running into with Asgard all day, was that if I was in a situation where I actually had to kill something, I was counting on a lot of stuff. So you need dice to come through. So
Absolutely.
let's see what else. Mal was everywhere, and I don't know if that's going to go away.
It will once I start playing again.
That, you know,
I'll teach them.
he's a 7 threat character. I think that one of the things we forget about in this game is that like it's really fun to play really powerful stuff.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
no,
not always
Malekith's
about
fun
like
as
getting
fuck,
beat
no
by
lie.
really fun stuff.
I don't think he'll go away. Like, I actually don't think he'll go away just because he is like cool.
Yeah.
It's like that's an interesting ass character to play. It's the big 7 threat dude riding a fucking tiger.
Yep. Wired Current asks Asgard with Angela. Yes, Asgard with Angela. If you're at 18, then you can be 5 wide with Thor and Angela, and it's not a problem at all. So I got asked what my core was by a couple of players, and it's Thor, Lizard, Toad, and if you can fit Angela, you want Angela, because you're playing on flip secures and Fs and a D. I played a very scenario focused Asgard team. The whole point of that team is just to get out there and try and score points and get the game over as quickly as possible. So there were a lot of games where I would just try to get up by as much as I could and then just kind of lean in on that and see what happens from there. NashCon was great. NashCon is a fantastic experience, by which I mean it's a well-run event with a shared misery element where we're all crowded into a very small room, sweating and breathing together. So it was not enough space for as many people that were there, but it was real fun.
I've heard they graduated for next year.
I really hope so. But I'd go back even if they didn't.
That's fair. I mean, that alone is saying something, right?
For real. That you like smelly men.
I mean,
Oh, jeez.
other than that, I think it was Usual Suspects, right? Avengers took the event down, so like that was like surprising no one. Avengers with Hulk and
Yeah,
Juggernaut.
we were.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh man.
Wait, dude, someone playing Juggernaut with Avengers? That's weak.
Yes, Blooch won.
Who needs Juggernaut when you have Hulk? He literally kicks his ass.
What if
in
you
every
ran
comic
both?
they're in.
Yeah, we ran both.
Literally, what does like? I don't understand that, because what does Juggernaut get from Steve leadership until he dies, and you don't want that character to die? Like, yes, I understand that Juggernaut's insane. I played the hell out of him.
That's the thing though, is the list isn't playing Steve, it's Sam all the time.
Yeah, it's Sam. It's a Sam leadership.
What, you're
and so-
playing double big boy with Sam?
Malekith's in the
just
list
getting,
too.
You're getting a heal. You're getting a heal and a move on one of your big boys, whether that's Juggernaut or Hulk, basically. So far as I can tell,
I
it's
played that last season. For a
Yeah.
long time, I would play Sam Steve
Yeah.
or Sam Hulk. It's so much more abusable. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I was at NashCon. Don't listen to me.
I mean,
Podcast.
so that's another thing. Is that like local events? So this is another one. To actually answer the listener question is like literally sometimes like real life events are just different.
Yeah.
Because it's not even so much like I'm super tech against the meta or this or that. It's like you bring things that you're good with or that you understand, and you're going to play a game that maybe some people don't quite get. I mean, I swear, any success I had on the day, I would attribute to that, and maybe some decent dice in some games where I needed it. Like that was like. I wouldn't say that I wasn't playing with strategy because I was, but it was a very specific thing that I was trying to do, and I don't think that everyone I played saw through it. So, no one, you bring 2 pieces to the table with 6 die attacks. People don't assume that you're just going to grab things and run around the board trying to flip secures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, we got from Carnage. I have the most important listener question for the next episode. When do I become a rogue agent instead of being the listener? I have some very sad news. Go ahead, Hyper. I think we're on the same brain path right now.
I hate to do this to you, Carnage, but who are you? Literally, I've never heard your name before today. And that's not like a disrespect thing. I just genuinely have no idea who you are.
They just popped up.
I know you're in our chat.
Yeah.
But that is like I've seen you in our chat today. Granted, I've been busy, but yeah, who are you?
The faceless one. that's you.
Faceless one.
But no, yeah. When do you become a rogue agent?
Never.
Yeah. Top tier
Always
patrons.
holding tryouts.
Are we
Maybe
on
one day we'll have
tryouts?
tryouts. Not yet though.
I mean, there's only 3 rogue agents in the game, so all the.
Yeah,
There's only 2.
There's only Thanos, Malekith, and Hulk.
Punisher?
The most rogue agents.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, man, good times, good times. I'm really curious if they ever like bring a new rogue agent to the game. Like, who could they make another rogue
Yeah,
agent?
who would that? I mean, like, Punisher genuinely could have been one.
Yeah.
But like another rogue agent, like Taskmaster, I don't even understand why he is a rogue agent. Besides the fact that he's a mercenary. By that, quandary, Deadpool should be a rogue agent, and he's not. So I don't really know what the criteria is. I suppose it's also like, it's basically entirely unnecessary at this point in the game.
Yeah. But it's still cool. But I think that's like honestly
It is
probably like one of the reasons why that is the reason why Bucky is seen everywhere. Like, he's still a great model, but if Bucky didn't have rogue agent, like,
It'd be harder to hit fit for sure.
yeah.
Like he's affiliated in Shield, and that's like it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a big part of his character is the fact that like he just work everywhere. Like if you want that, like he's basically affiliated in CS, but thankfully he can't pay for AATP.
Yeah.
But he can pay for Follow Me.
That he
Yes.
can.
Oh boy, can he ever! I miss Blind Obsession Bucky, but I'm so glad that shit's out of the game.
I kind of
Yeah.
miss Blind Obsession, but yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, it was just like it was getting really bad at the end there when I started really understanding that card. I'm like, oh, I can just play this 3 threat instead of Corvus Glaive and get the same effect like in 80% of my games. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. I want to not answer, but Jimmy the Hand responded in the listener question saying, "You're actually going to become a rogue agent. You'll get to apply makeup to finger guns and Dyzard before you get."
Makeup doesn't help this face.
As I said, my real question to Jimmy on this is, what are you getting at here? Like, either I don't get what you're getting at here. It's not good. Another response from Carnage was, I mean, if they don't want to look good at all, I will definitely take that job. You don't have to try hard, buddy. And then
This face doesn't need that help.
and then also stated, by the way, on episode 12, you took Hyperviper's advice to get better at board gaming and got married.
Wait, what?
Apparently, you gave advice. I don't remember what was said. Now I kind of
Wait, who said that?
Carnage did.
I think Dyzard said that.
What? I got someone married? What the
I
fuck?
think Dyzard actually said that if you want to get better at board gaming, get married.
Oh yeah, that was not me. I'm not married, guys. I'm not even close to married.
Well, like, I was like reading the comment, and I was like, that doesn't sound like something Hyperviper would say.
Thanks for giving me credit, but like, goddamn, there's no way.
I guess I did. I don't remember what I said, but
No, somebody said something along those lines. Like, if you want to get better at board games, get married.
I want to say it was when we were talking about like how my wife went to like NashCon, and she's like basically always at events with me, and that whole conversation.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
That
rings a bell.
Echoes. Rings the bell.
Yeah. Anyways, do you have anything else you guys want to say? Closing comments? I think
But hey, congratulations for getting married, whoever said
Oh yeah,
that.
that's very
cool.
true. Sorry. Yeah, congratulations.
I got one.
I was on it this time.
All right, so this came up in my local Discord, like after I was literally in the car riding back from NashCon, and then it like reared its ugly head again, like a couple of other places over the past couple of days. So it's interesting to me that this is kind of just like filtered into the Crisis Protocol universe. How do you guys feel about competitive and casual so far as a split in this community? Because it's something that I kind of hate to see. Yeah. And I think that it's also something that is getting triggered somewhat by Malekith, but it's not
That's
like Malekith's
unreal.
the first offender in this
No.
realm, right?
Literally,
Like
people
it's
always
just the
have
most
something to cry
recent.
about. And like I don't mean that in like a super derogatory way, but people always have, like it was MODOK, then it was New Hulk, now it's Malekith. Like people will always have something to say, like, "Oh, this is game breaking. It's making it not fun when I have my beer and Pringles and pass out halfway through the game." Like that's not the game's fault. That's your fault for playing that way.
So
But like the casual, sorry to interrupt you, Dyzard. The
you're
casual
fine.
competitive split is like, for me, if people want to play this game casually, that's fine. I always ask, especially when I'm not in a tournament beforehand, like, hey, what kind of game do you want to play today? Because I'm not trying to like have someone have a shitty day. Like we're all here dedicating our time to playing this board game. We're all at the game shop or on TTS or whatever,
Yeah.
spending our valuable time where we could be doing literally anything else, playing a board game with plastic dollies. So it's really just like it's less of a casual competitive split and more of a just like honesty / don't be a dick situation. At least in my experience.
I'd agree. Something I was gonna say is I actually had a conversation the other day where I was talking about how like people were talking about Malekith, and I said like, what is different between now and like what 2.5 years ago when MODOK ran the meta? Oh, then what about Wakanda? And then you have Thanos, and then you have Sam, and then you still have Thanos, and then you have Black Cat and Voodoo. And now it's Malekith. And in 3 to 4 months, it's gonna be somebody else. Like that's just how miniature games work. Like you have your rotating meta cycle that as soon as they introduce something new, that completely shakes up things. Like
Are people really that scared of Malekith? I'm blown away.
Yeah, you have not
So,
been paying attention to the communities.
One of my main takeaways
I
from
really
Ashcon
haven't.
was I don't want to be like I ain't scared of no Malekith because like no, he's a serious piece and you have to make considerations.
You gotta pay
and
attention
concessions
to him,
for him
sure.
to some extent. Yeah, but like I at no point felt either like looking at my opponent's list and be like, oh, there's a Malekith, or actually on the table fighting against a Malekith. I was never like, this is unmanageable. This game's terrible. I was just like, there are things that need to be done. There are things that I want to consider. There are mitigation strategies. Make him come to you. Make him spend actions. Make him like do things he doesn't want to do. If you can make him inefficient, then you are in a better position than if you're just like trying to stand real close to him and try to take him down. He's very well prepared for that.
Just like every other top tier threat in this game.
Yeah.
So
The exact same counter strategy we've had to every other top tier threat in this game.
But there's a few things about that though, and I think there are some valid points that I have seen, and the biggest ones being is the thing about Malekith that is different about like Black Order or Thanos or whatever is, first of all, let me before I forget, I still think playing into Thanos Black Order or Thanos is like still like more scary than playing into Malekith. That's just my opinion. Just generally speaking. But anyways, like Malekith, man, I should have kept on going because I lost it. Train of thoughts, love them. But basically, along the lines of, you have like your casual game, and like where Malekith is he's easy to put on the table and see results versus like Thanos, where you have to work to see a lot of the results. Sure, he has easy button for us, comparatively speaking, because we've been playing the game since it basically came out, and we see all these lines, we see these different things, versus somebody who picked up the game a month ago, and then they get dropped into Malekith, and they haven't gone through the same stuff that we have with the different metas. So imagine like us, the first time Sam, like a year and a half ago, that article about Thanos came out, and then all of a sudden Thanos is like ruling the meta. Like everybody was like, something needs to happen to Thanos. We were all saying the same stuff back then. So that is like, if you like, you're different.
I wasn't. But
I mean, but like that's like the thing though that you think about is like you have like the different mindsets where people like look at this game like, I want to play this game casually. I don't want to go into a Malekith because like I come out here to roll dice and have fun, whereas they feel like they have no agency into it. I think a big part of that, to be completely honest though, is like the community like uproar about Malekith, because you have all these voices saying Malekith's scary, you got to watch out for Malekith. And somebody who hasn't even ran into Malekith yet already has this stigma built up around him. And then they see Malekith get dropped across them. Of course, they're going to be scared of him because they've heard nothing but scary things about him. They don't hear about the games where it's like, oh, Malekith charged me round 1 and whiffed his dice, and then I dazed him in round 2, and then I KO'd him in round 3, and then I just won because they lost half of their threat on the board.
Yes, that is my experience with Malekith.
Yeah, but people don't hear about those situations. They only hear about like, yeah, Malekith charged me round 1. I lost a model, and then he dazed 3 characters round 3 and KO'd the first one he dazed in round 1. And the game was just over round 3 because I only had 1 person on the board, and it was such an egregious experience. Like that's like the difference that we're talking about here. Like it's such a fast game because of like how much he can do and his potential. And I think what I see a lot of times is like people say like, oh, Malekith's is easy to play. Like he's so much easier to play than Black Order is because he's like super just point click kill. Like that's Malekith. I disagree with that mindset. I don't think he's like that simple, but like he does have a low like barrier to entry, so to say.
He's a straightforward piece.
Yeah.
That has, you know, it's kind of like Crisis Protocol itself, right? Like it's easy. What is it? Easy to learn, hard to understand, or like hard to master. Yeah. So like here's this piece. He does amazing things. Yeah, like some of that, a lot of it even is dice based, but it's a piece that you're bringing. It's kind of like Corvus. Like being someone who played a lot of Black Order, playing Corvus, especially Corvus boosted by Thanos. Like I can't count the number of times that I heard whinging about Corvus's dice, and you're like, what? I appreciate your current negative experience right now, but it's all he's got. And he literally says, I hit on 7 of 8 faces, like at least once, and then 6 of 8 faces like the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And that's his entire shtick, yeah.
Yeah, like that's I don't think people realize how much better 6 of 8 faces is or 7 of 8 faces is. Like even Wanda's dice are better than normal dice because of counting skulls.
But I think
it's tough.
I think to answer your question though, like we kind of went on the whole side tangent of Malekith there, because I think he's like you said, he's the crux of like these conversations a lot of times. I think like Hyper hit on the head where it's like if you have an issue with like Malekith, like number 1, play into him. Like find somebody who's been playing Malekith, play into him, figure out what your list can do into him. Yeah. Maybe adjust your list.
Don't beat your head against the wall, right? Like don't just be like, oh, Malekith, dong, 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 dong. Like that's not helpful. Like Malekith, how do I beat this? Escort to safety, bodyguard effects, go wide, status effects, status. Yeah, like just stagger him every turn, push him away, throw him into his own people. Think about all the different ways that you can come against a piece. And now, like, this is something where, like, I was trying, if I had one point to make to, like, anybody who's like, I'm a casual player, I don't want to play against Malekith. It's like, okay, I appreciate your perspective, but at the same time, we're all playing a shared experience game. So, like, how do you beat Malekith with your casual roster, right? So, like, what tools do you already have in your roster with the characters, the limited list of characters that you want to play with, or something like that? Like, how do you approach that? I think, what threat values do you have to force?
But it also comes down to, it's like, if I'm a casual player and I say, like, oh, I play this game to play what I want to play and have fun with it. What if that person just loves the character Malekith? Not necessarily how he plays in the game, but just loves Malekith. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, at that
I feel
point...
like we've literally been here before when we talked about Thanos all the time.
Yeah, you're not...
Fair. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm hearing you say that, and, like, we literally talked about what if they just like Thanos. Like, yeah. Like, Malekith's a cool dude. He rides a fucking sick-ass tiger. Instead of being sad that, like, this character is strong, why don't you be happy for the person who's playing him? And then be like, all right, now I gotta figure out a way for my jank to beat it.
Well, so like
there really are options.
There is, and I was watching the AMG paint stream today a little bit, and I think it was Schick painting, and he had said something along the lines of like he loves it when there's new releases because he gets to see all this discussion about new models, and he didn't like say names, he just said these new releases, and he said one of the best things that a miniature game can do is stay fresh. And he loves it. Like I'm paraphrasing, of course. Like this is not quote. I did not write this down. But basically, like, his point was that, from my take and interpretation of his point, was like characters like Malekith and Winterguard that just came out is like like it's good for the game in this aspect that like it's keeping the game alive and it's giving people like I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure out how to do this. Like how do I go about this new puzzle that's introduced to the game? Because if we just kept like not we, but like if they just kept releasing new characters that like were the same old hat, then like how does that make the game exciting? How does that create conversation and debate about like characters and what's being good? It also brings characters out of the woodwork. Like I'm straight up playing Omega Red and Sinister in my list right now, who probably have never been like seriously put in like a competitive list. Like I maybe a few times, but like somebody who's like planning on trying to do their best and win a convention, I don't think anybody's like put Sinister and Omega in a list like that. Like there probably has been, but like I've not.
This is neither here nor there, but I think that'll change when Hydra comes out.
Yeah, I think again, like it comes back to the point earlier. Like give it 2 to 3 months, and then there's going to be a new conversation.
Yeah.
And that next conversation of who's broken is going to be Skull.
Oh yeah. Red Skull. These 3 actions a turn. He's got 3 actions a turn on turn 3 for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
if he doesn't,
it's going to be
get
another thing.
Completely smashed by Hulk.
That's something that I've said in multiple game systems is like, okay, so if we cut the cream off the top, like when people cry for nerfs and things like that, like okay, if you just cut the cream off the top, the next cream just rises up, right?
Yeah,
it's like right now, Follow Me and Malekith are like the current like hot buttons in my opinion in this game. Those are cards.
I think Follow Me is like the one thing though that I think probably should have hit the BNR, like not banned, but maybe restricted.
Make it cost 10 powers so only Vision can play it.
That's fair. But like to your point though is like I don't know, like there's always gonna be something that's gonna be the boogeyman, and I don't want to downplay anybody's like emotions or like feelings or thoughts about this character in the game, because some people may be having just a bad time into this character, and like the best thing I can say to improve your casual experience is people who are wanting to play Malekith, talk to your opponent, be like, hey, it's a casual game night, do you mind if I play Malekith because I'm trying to get like better repetitions with this list? Like talk to your opponent. Don't just be like, and Malekith comes out, and then the opponent's like, God, I have to face this guy. Like, just do the common courtesy and be like, hey, I'm planning on playing Malekith. Do you mind? And like that's what I would say at like a local game night. But it's like if you're going to a tournament, back to the original question of casual and competitive, is like I think there is a fine line between the two, because like in my head, and this is my head, if I go to a tournament, I'm going competitive. I'm going no bars held. This is classified as a tournament or a like there's a first place, second place, third place, and I'm gonna try and do my best at it. Granted, there are times when I join a tournament just to go have fun and play games, because it's like 3 games in one day. But I go there, if I'm going there for fun, I go there knowing that I'm there for a tournament and I'm expecting everybody to bring their A game and to play in that play style. Versus, hey, it's Marvel Monday at the game store. I'm going there to have fun, like hang out, have like social hour, and like enjoy the game and play some weird stuff. Like I keep like 2 lists in my bag. I'm gonna keep X-Force list that I have for funsies, and then I'm gonna keep my highly competitive list that like, hey, do you mind if I play my highly competitive list? Because I'm practicing for Nova. If they say no,
you hit the
then
nail on the
cool.
head there, straight up. It's you gotta just bring 2 lists. I'll never go back to not doing that.
Yeah.
Like even when I go to tournaments, when I went to LVO, I had my Avengers list and I had my fucking dorky Spider Foes list.
I mean, does that kind of prove the point though? That like there is a competitive and casual split? So
I
like,
think I don't think it's a bad thing. Like
okay,
some folks just don't have the time to like get the reps to be prepared for shit, and that's cool.
And some people just don't enjoy that mindset of the game. Some people just like, I love Marvel and I want to play a miniature game that represents that, and I want to have those cinematic moments, and I want to go and throw stuff, and I want to play Cable and Deadpool and Chimichangas and like all these stuff, because that's what they enjoyed this game for. And it's upon the community, like the community as a whole, to like come together and like not bash people who are like, oh man, that list sucks, what are you doing? Like what? No, like please don't do that.
Speaking of having fun and throwing things, I want to have a serious conversation, not on this episode because I know we've already spent a lot of time here, but I think something needs to happen there. it's too much. Like what 75% of lists at NashCon had brace, right? It's omnipresent. It needs to stop.
But
I
throws
didn't
are
run it.
omnipresent.
Yes,
I normally
know.
don't. I'm
Asgard's
not.
like all size 2. No, like in the Asgard list, I didn't run it either because everybody's size 2.
I'm playing Malekith and
Except
I'm
for
not
Lizard.
running brace. Yeah.
Yeah. How will
Yeah.
that go for Sam?
It didn't go very well for me. Full disclosure.
To be fair, Sam even admitted, I don't know why I put Skull there. I thought he was safe. I should have actually met
I did. I really thought he was safe behind those trash cans. I thought that the big base of Malekith was not going to reach Skull, but it didn't pan out that way. So, I mean, that's life, I guess. So, I have 2 comments on this like overarching discussion. Number one is that like I don't want to gatekeep either way.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to tell somebody that they can't like have fun the way that they like to have fun. There are games that just can't get played, so that everybody can have a better night. And I think that this is also a 2-way street, and that the more open our lines of communication as players are, the better. So like number one, like if you're trying to get comp practice with your Malekith, like that like Doctor Strange roster is maybe not the best thing for you to play in, where it's just like, hey, it's like thematic defenders, or I'm not even gonna run my leader. I'm just gonna run these, other defenders models
Hey, I
because
don't
I want to be
appreciate
the
that.
defenders. I'm street level defenders. Like I understand wanting to just play with your favorite characters. The only other point that I have on this is that watch out, because there are very thematic and casual rosters in this game that are surprisingly competitive and will just blow other thematic rosters off the table. So,
Oh, yeah.
like thematic guardians are like a head and shoulders above a thematic.
Thematic X-Men.
There we go. Right, like 90s Sunday morning cartoon or Saturday morning cartoon X-Men
Yeah.
versus thematic guardians. I think thematic guardians have a tremendous advantage in that matchup,
Yeah.
and that's just part of the game we play and part of the world we live in. So don't confuse wanting to have fun with this game and make fun Marvel stories with not liking losing or something like that, because I have actually seen far worse matchups between casual players who don't realize they're hard countering each other than I have in a lot of more competitive setups. And so open lines of communication, talk to your players, talk to each other, and just understand what you're there for and what you want to do. And I don't know, by and large, I don't think that we should care quite as much about what the other guy is playing. Just care a little bit more about what you're playing and
Yeah, I love that
practice.
take.
I
Yeah,
think
just
like it just comes to mindset.
do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
And
a
sometimes
mindset.
the competitive mindset, like a more practiced player can literally give you an NPE experience, like not even trying to, just by understanding how to counter the things that you're about to do, because he's literally been playing the game a lot longer than you. And if that's the situation that you're running into, all of those players are almost always going to be more than happy to talk to you either during or after the game about what you can do to improve, maybe where your roster isn't doing something, not even so much like in character changes, just like how you can better utilize a character. So just
Yeah, I have a buddy who's a newer
Play your stuff,
player,
have fun.
and they are consistently asking me like, "Hey, can I please play against like your super serious list?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, sure." Because I don't do that intentionally with newer players, but I'm also like very upfront. Like I'm not trying to be mean, but like you're probably gonna lose if I'm like not playing to try and teach you, because you're newer at the game. I've been playing this game like since it came out.
that's another thing, is that like I play during the week to like get better. It's
for
practice,
real.
right? Like I'm there to learn more about my list, or to learn about a character, or to learn about like the game. Like, so I'm going to bring something to game night that I want to get better at playing. So like
Absolutely.
I brought Supergiant the other night. Turns out she's fine, by the way. Everybody.
Whoa, hot
Supergiant's
take.
fine.
also
I
that
played
off
two-
chance
I played-
that off chance the Super Giant just one shots Malekith.
Oh man, that'd be.
It's
I would
there.
to see that happen between the two of you. I would give up my firstborn child.
You would eat a shoe.
I wouldn't
You're,
take
you're
that
gonna run
away
out.
from you.
You're gonna run out of shoes.
Another shoe. I just got new shoes actually. I can eat my old shoes now.
No, but my point is that I'm there to learn something. I'm not
Yeah.
there to beat your butt, so like let's talk about it. Let's have fun and play some stuff. Like I'm trying to get better for when a game does matter, or matter, right? I'm there to try and up my game in some way, and I'm more than happy to help everybody else around me do the same.
Yeah, and on that same like note, I don't know if this is something that y'all deal with as well. I'm sure it is. Like, I can't stop myself from trying to get better. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm playing this game, I'm always trying to think about, like, what can I do better? How can I improve the situation? Like, how can I... It was a problem that I had a lot with my ex-girlfriend, is, like, I would be playing with her casually, and then halfway through, I'd find myself trying really hard. I'm like, oh, shit. 'Cause it's just like,
That's
just
the
trying...
real competitive casual split right there.
Yeah. It's, you
That's
can't
the real
stop yourself
split.
from trying.
Yeah.
Like, all the way.
Like, you're trying to get better at the game so that you can do something else with it. And, like, if all you're trying to do is make a cool superhero story, then, like, I guess that's not important. And, like, that's hard for me to understand. I'm guessing just like it is on the other side looking back is can be hard to understand.
I also think like AMG does a great thing called OP events that are like strictly narrative.
Oh, they're so fun.
Yeah.
And they're super fun.
They are
like
fun.
like I think that like it's upon like either like the person, whoever it is, like leading like the events at a store, like just occasionally just bust out OP events. Like
I have
Yeah.
symbiotes in my game bag every single time I go out to play. I think symbiotes is potentially like the most fun I've had tabletop gaming ever. I'm in awe at how
It is.
seamless
It's
it is
great.
to have like a 4-player event, even though it does kind of devolve sometimes to just like having two-player events because they're just
Right.
on different sides of the board.
And politics
Symbiotes is
and other
so
stuff.
fucking fun.
Yeah,
I wanna
separation
get-
anxiety is debatably the best game mode.
I want to get the Carnage symbiote on Malekith.
You know what's really fun is
Achievement
getting
unlocked.
the damage reduction symbiote, the one that gives you Kingpin's and Nerd to paint on Thanos.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Just two
so,
different abilities.
I think that the other thing to remember here is that like we're all a lot closer to the same page than we might think
Yeah.
we are when it comes to like just playing this game and having fun. So like if hardcore competitive stuff is burning your group out, or like you don't know what to do because you got one group who wants to play one way and one group that wants to play the other, like if you're a competitive player, there's always something to learn from this game, whether it's a piece or a tactic or a scenario, or just have some fun and play in the ultimate encounter and see what you can do against the unstoppable juggernaut or
Yeah.
Magneto, or like there's always something to learn in this game.
I haven't gotten a chance to play those like we were fighting like the big boss monster. How are those?
They're fun. They're real fun. I still like the Thanos one a lot. Like that's probably like my favorite like big boss one.
I like playing as Thanos.
Yeah, I love Thanos.
I think to like close out this little question answer is like I feel like we've been kind of like I wouldn't say harsh, but we've been kind of harsh with what we're saying here, but it's because we're kind of passionate about like we're all about the community building, and like I want to see people succeed into Malekith. When I take Malekith into somebody, I'm like, hey, maybe you should try this or take this outlook, like, or try this. I think it really just comes down to, if you're talking about this whole split of casual and competitive, is communication. It's just like any relationship or like marriage is like, if you can like communicate within your game group and be like, hey, I feel like just having a fun game tonight. I don't feel like getting my face stomped in. Then cool, I understand. I'm either gonna go find somebody else here that wants to play competitively, or let me play my competitive list to practice it, or I'm gonna be like, cool, I'm gonna take out my secondary list and we're gonna play a fun, casual, focused game. It's all about that communication before you guys sit down at the table.
Yeah. And if you're playing one of those, if your casual roster happens to be, super thematic but still very powerful, just understand you're not really giving them two different options.
Yes, very true. Like I built this list like several times where it's just all of the Avengers from Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and I have to actively stop myself whenever I build that list from just putting in Black Cat and Voodoo. I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. This isn't the same Avengers list we've been playing. This is the one that's the fun cartoon you like.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts? Closing thoughts? No.
Watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That show rules.
All right.
Genuinely the best Avengers in any form of media.
All right. We have been the Rogue Agents, and you have been the Malekiths.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort.
In this war, there's no surrender.
He's out of line, but he's right. Touche.